Welcome back to First Take. It was the miracle just off 34th Street Tuesday night as the Knicks erased a 22-point fourth-quarter deficit to take down the Cavs in OT, 122-115. They took a 1-0 series lead in the Eastern Conference Finals. Brunson led the charge late, finished with a game-high 38 points. The Knicks have had recent success since signing Brunson in the 2022 offseason. They've been to the playoffs 4 times, including consecutive conference finals appearances. The 4 years before Brunson, not so good. The Knicks had 1 playoff appearance and the 4th lowest win percentage in the association. And so, now that you can smell it a little bit in these New York streets, would a ring make Jalen Brunson the greatest Knick ever? Stephen A. Perk, you go first.
You damn right. And this big body Brunson. Look, the New York Knicks hasn't been relevant since Moby Dick was a goldfish. And what has been the narrative? What has been the narrative, y'all, around the league, around Jalen Brunson? That you can't win a championship with a small guard as your leader. And when you think about the position that Jalen Brunson is in, because if he get through this series, he's possibly going to face SGA, who's already an all-time great, or Wemby, who's on the rise to being an all-time great, and you dethrone them and bring back a championship, and now you're sitting at the table with Steph Curry, and you're sitting at the table with Isaiah Thomas. 2 small guards that got it done that led their teams to winning the championship. That in itself puts him as the greatest Knick ever. Yeah, I said it.
I'm predisposed in favor of Jalen Brunson, Chicago's own. I root for him. I've been paying attention to him since he was a kid at Stevenson High School in Chicago, suburban Chicago. However, I'm going to play the old man, Perk. And by the way, I agree with everything you said, particularly about the small guard thing. I mean, to lead a team and be that size, you're like, this is amazing. But we cannot forget about Walt Frazier. We cannot forget about Clyde. Walt Frazier, first of all, Walt won 2 of them. Remember, he was on both of those Knicks teams in 70 and 73. I realized that it was more of an ensemble with Bradley and DeBusschere and Willis Reed and Dick Barnett. I realized they were sort of all equals. And so it wasn't, Brunson is clearly the best player on this team. Walt was not necessarily better than those guys I just named. And then he shared it with Earl Monroe on the second time. But he did it twice. He's an all-time great. He had one of the all-time great games to beat, Wilt. One of the all-time, they had to win that against the Lakers, with the Lakers, staring down the other end of the court, looking at the Knicks in awe. So, and I want to give a footnote, sort of Patrick Ewing. I covered Patrick's whole career, and I know they didn't win. The Knicks got there twice. Patrick was the player for that whole era, and that one Knicks team that lost to Akeem, Game 7, Pat Riley's fault. That's another story. But for not putting in Rolando Blackman for my man John Starks.
Hello.
But Clyde. That's the one but I have, Perk, with Brunson. And Brunson can get there. He can get there. And by the way, he's still got to win. He's still got to go through the Western Conference champ this time.
Would 1 ring get him there, though? 1 ring.
Man, Clyde's got 2.
That's
I don't want to just ring count. I don't want that to be the only criteria.
And that's what I wanted to bring up before I pass the mic is I want to ask you, the story matters. The story matters, right? Jalen Brunson is not supposed to be here. Jalen Brunson, no one could have told us 10 years ago that Jalen Brunson would be in a New York Knicks uniform and possibly leading these
second-round draft pick.
Thank you. To leading this team to winning the NBA championship. Yeah. Because we know my brother from another mother that's behind me right here, he didn't even want Jalen Brunson. He wanted Donovan Mitchell.
Jalen Brunson?
So what I'm saying is, when you think about the weight that he's carried in this market,
check.
As a 6'2" small guy, the story matters to me.
The story does matter. It does, and that's why Perk I'm conflicted. Because Jalen Brunson, but he's got to win. He's got to win.
Yeah.
But then I go back to, man, it's so cool to see Walt Frazier sitting in the Madison Square Garden.
That's what I'm talking about.
In there every night. It's just for those of us of a certain age, Perk. I know you ain't close to that yet.
In a different animal
Would
pursuit.
he be the greatest Knick of all time, Jalen Brunson?
Here's the thing. Perk, I absolutely agree with you. The narrative, the story matters. And Mike, my brother, I'm glad you said this because the Knicks are not, they're not the Charlotte Hornets. They're not this is a legacy. This is one of the first teams in the NBA. They cannot be one greatest Knick of all time. This is a Mount Rushmore franchise.
It is.
You know what I mean?
Like Willis Reed has to be on that Mount Rushmore too.
Talk about it. So there is a slew of iconic Knicks that have come through here that have made noise.
True.
And to your point, Perk, made a story, had a story. There was a story behind it. Melo came in and saved the franchise from doom, and Pat did what he did all through the 90s, battling with Mike. Et cetera. Patrick Ewing. Come on, dog. I was 10 years old watching them do what they do, and they should have put in black. But I do not think one ring does it.
Okay, he would need more than
Stephen
one
A.
ring.
I want to hear this now.
First of all, one ring does it. Does it.
The Queens guys always jump.
And on top of it all, Kendrick Perkins is absolutely 1,000% correct.
Wow.
If Jalen Brunson,
You ain't right.
Go ahead,
leads
S.A.
this team. Well, I need you to put your foot down because that's blocking the damn screen.
No, you good. We can still see your face. We can see your face. I like
America can't see this fly.
Yeah,
Here's the deal.
we can see it. Go ahead.
Here's the deal. I like the sneakers though. Jalen Brunson, here's the part that you're missing, Wilbon and Mero. Check this out, y'all. He's a little man. He's the number one option. He's the clear star of the team.
No doubt.
There is no Willis Reed on the team with him. There is no Dave DeBusschere on the team with him. There is no Earl the Pearl Monroe on the Black Jesus. You understand? Winston-Salem State's own. There is no dude like that on the team with him. And listen, Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, Karl Anthony Towns, all of these cats could play. Got mad love for them. But you are deferring to the 6'1" guard that was a second-round pick that before he arrived in New York, and let's clarify stuff like it. It wasn't that I did not want him in a New York Knicks uniform. It's that it was the Kevin Durant sweepstakes.
You're right.
Okay?
You're right.
Kevin Durant, we wanted Kevin Durant. I'm not
But
apologizing
you did
for
better.
that
You
to
did
this
better,
very day.
Stephen A. getting Brunson, didn't you?
That's fine. But time out, y'all.
Would have had Byron
Be
Formosa,
honest,
KD.
First take. This is first take. Who would have thought that at the time? He had started 61 of the 79 games for Dallas. He was averaging 16 a game. We all knew that Luka Doncic was the star in Dallas. We applauded him for filling in when Luka Doncic got hurt and he had lifted the Dallas Mavericks to the conference finals. You understand? We got that part, before they lost to Phoenix. But the point is that you have to look at it and say, listen, this is what we saw. Nobody was comparing Jalen Brunson to a Kevin Durant. That is a fact. You wasn't even comparing him to a Donovan Mitchell at that time. So I'm not apologizing for that. We didn't have a sample size from him to say he's supposed to be that dude. None of y'all thought he was going to be this. This dude is a superstar in the game. He's a superstar in the game. And so now that we see what we see from him, understand this. He's the smallest dude in your starting lineup. The dude is the lead guard. He's leading the team as the number one scoring option. And on top of it all, you've got either the reigning defending NBA champions in his way or Victor Wembanyama in that San Antonio Spurs team. And the New York Knicks find a way to win the championship under those conditions. I'm sorry, he's number one if that happens. Clyde Frazier isn't now. But if he pulls that off, Clyde Frazier was never the number one option. He wasn't that guy. He was a 20-point per game scorer. There was no three-point shooting.
He was number one option in Game 7, May 8th, 1970.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. Yes, he was against the Los Angeles Lakers. He was the number one. He was the number one option. He wasn't the number one option in '73 when they won it anyway, even though he was still balling. The point, and not only that, here's the deal. Willis Reed was the leading scorer on that team. In '70, he was averaging 21 a game. You understand? When he limped onto that court and hit two shots that sparked the crowd, and we hold on to that to this very moment. We appreciate Walt Clyde Frazier. Look at Willis Reed right there, coming out of the tunnel, crowd going absolutely berserk. It's a big-time moment, and then hits his first two shots of the game. Everybody going crazy. No doubt, Lakers didn't have a chance. From that moment forward, right there, it was over. But listen, Brunson and what you see him doing this year, if he would have beat Oklahoma City or Victor Wembanyama, San Antonio Spurs, I'm sorry. There's nothing to debate. And listen, I love Patrick Ewing. Patrick Ewing never delivered the chip. Love Melo. Melo never delivered the chip. You understand? It's just a fact. We're talking facts here. You can bring in all the people, the supplementary parts that they had. Nobody brought the chip in the last 53 years. It's a fact. Jalen Brunson erases that and delivers a championship to New York City. He is officially the greatest New York Knickerbocker of all time.
You get final word.
Stephen A., respectfully, you're bugging. I like how you just glossed over.
I'm not bugging. You have no idea what you're talking about.
No, listen, Stephen
no
A.,
idea.
listen. At the barbershop, they tell me I know ball. You just glossed over the supporting cast part.
No, we didn't.
You know what I'm saying? Like
No, we didn't.
he said it, but he said it real quick. He just really went past it.
No.
Hold on. I said the supporting cast. The supporting cast. Oh, the supporting cast ain't what you had in the 70s.
Carl
It ain't what you had in the
Anthony
70s.
Dog.
Bradley, DeBusschere, Willis Reed,
many
Earl
All-Stars?
of Pearl Monroe. No, listen. I know you at the barbershop. Let me tell you something right now. My ass wasn't there with you because if I was there with you in the barbershop and you said that, you understand? We shut it down. You tell me what barbershop you need me to show up to. You understand? When you talking that mess, I'll show up.
Listen, I ain't no more barbershops. I can
You tell
you,
me which
obviously.
one.
Stephen A., I will say this. Let me close with this.
Last.
I'm conflicted because I believe in Brunson. I believe, but it's not. It can't be clear cut when you got Clyde Frazier in the history of the Knicks and you got 2 chips. You keep talking about delivering 1. He delivered 2 at a time that the league he had to play against earlier in his career. Bill Russell and the Celtics, Wilt and Jerry West and Elgin Baylor and the Lakers. So
And
all
look
I'm
at
saying
who
is
he had
it's
with
never
him.
clear. Okay, but it's never clear cut. You can't take Clyde out the equation, even if it's Brunson. It's going to be the narrowest of arguments, the narrowest to me.
Listen,
Mount Rushmore.
when you see what happened the other night against Cleveland, that was a typical example of what we're trying to talk about.
Great.
All of those cats, all of those cats were on the court with him. They were sitting around spectating, watching his brother put on a show. When Isaiah was in the finals against the Lakers and he twisted his ankle and dropped 25 in a quarter, even though they lost that final before coming back and winning back-to-back,
Go.
you still looked at Isaiah. Even Dumas and everybody else was there. You still said, that's Isaiah's crew. It's a difference. It's a level to this.
Okay.
Number 1, if he wins the chip. Number 1.
We got to go.